welcome to another Era Queen Calidrum. We're glad to be back. This guy is glad to be back. He went to a tournament. I didn't get to go. I was jealous. So he's going to give us an update.
All right.
What was the name of the tournament?
The Battle of Two Armies. So
first one in Canada with this format.
Yeah, so you had to bring a good and an evil.
Excuse me, first one in Ontario. I don't know if this is the first in Canada.
That's fair.
First in Ontario.
That's fair, yeah. So you had to bring two 500-point armies, one that was good, one that was evil. There were no restrictions to speak of on the actual army lists. And basic premise of the day, we're going to play 4 games, 2 with good and 2 with evil. So that got a little interesting at the end, but overall it worked pretty well, actually. There was a lot of positive feedback about the format and everything.
I was wishing I could go. It sounded pretty exciting.
It was actually pretty fun, and it was ironic. In the first round, all the evil players won.
All the players who, all the evil players? Just every evil army won?
Like every evil army won the first round. Which we were just like, whoa, okay. And then afterwards, when the Army of the Dead started playing, then they started crushing evil, and we're like, oh, okay. So that's how this is going to be. So it was interesting. Overall, I'll talk about the 2 armies I brought. I brought Goblin Town for my evil army, because 500 points. It's a 100-point OSBGL event. I have to bring Goblin Town.
He knows how to play Goblin Town. That's his staple. That's his
so
go-to.
500 points is my Goblin Town list. Anyway, so I brought Goblin Town for my evil, and then for my good, I actually had no idea what I wanted to bring.
I decided for him.
You decided for me. Because I was too busy painting stuff for a buddy of mine that I went with to the event with.
I've had a couple new players joining recently. It's been great.
So anyway, I brought Army of the Dead. The Return of the King Legendary Legion with Aragorn, King of the Dead, 12 warriors with spear and shield, and then 2 riders.
Just for a bit of mobility.
And
yeah, so thoughts.
That list.
Those are the 2 lists that you played.
Wrecks.
Yeah, how to work.
That list just kills stuff. Oh my goodness.
If you're playing against all evil.
Yeah.
Has a harder time against elves.
Oh yeah. The 2 games I fought with it, I played evil in the first round against Andrew Brock, who, if you don't know, is like one of the best players in Canada.
Tough guy to beat.
Yeah, but
still a dice game.
I was playing.
He doesn't
evil.
win all the time, but he does very well. He's
I was playing evil
competitive.
with Goblin Town, and he was playing Gondor with Galadriel, Lady of Light, and we were playing Capture and Control. So if you don't know, if you haven't watched our Goblin Town video, that's one of the strongest missions for a Horde army, which by default, because you got 5 objectives. If you got like 2 or 3 times as many models as the other guy, you can just hold the objectives all day. But you don't even need to hold them because they're capture and control. So you can just flip it and then run. So what ended up happening actually was he slaughtered my army. Like it was insane. And the game ended literally the second before I would have lost. So there was one turn where I was holding all 5 objectives and the game didn't end. I broke that turn, so next turn I took Courage Test. Goblin King automatically passed because he's a Hero of Legend.
Hero of Legend rule.
Which kept me in the game. He just kept killing goblins. So.
If you didn't already know that, one of the changes from the last edition to this edition is that the Hero of Legend gives you an auto pass if your courage check the first turn after you've broken. 1 turn only.
Yep.
But it matters with Goblin King.
Yeah, it really matters. Usually I don't break, but if I do break, the Goblin King usually helps me out. So I broke. Goblin King saved me that first round, and I kept fighting. He kept killing even more stuff. I managed to break him in literally the same turn he broke me, so we were both broken, which meant I wasn't giving up victory points. At that point, his general was already dead, so it was just goblins, like a ton of goblins. Next turn, I had to take actual courage test, because again, the game didn't end. I was holding, still, all 5 objectives. I took my courage tests. I had not very many goblins left on the table. Goblin King ran away, Golem ran away, like Grinna ran away, like everything ran away. It was awful. I had just enough goblins left on the table because I had so many of them to like tie up all his dudes. And then I had other dudes running towards the fight. So at the end of that round, like after we did all the combats and everything, I had 3 of the objectives. He had 1. 1 was flipped to neutral, and I had 7 models left on the table. We rolled to see if the game ends. It finally ends. 1 more turn, and he would have tabled me, and I would have lost by default.
Statistically speaking, roll of a 1 or 2 ends the game. 1/3 of the rolls could end the game. By the time you've rolled 3 turns, the game should end.
But it was
so ridiculous. If you're playing the clock, and if you're playing the turn count, and you're paying attention to the game, and stats are on your side, then you should only have 3 turns after you've broken before it's
7 models left. I went from having all 5 objectives and having like tons of models left to the point where I'm just like, yeah, this game is completely in the bag. My general runs away. 3/4 of my army run away. Holy crap. If the game doesn't end right now, I'm going to lose. Game ends.
So, moral of the story, he's already learned these lessons before. Goblin Town
Yeah.
is tough to beat in capturing control. Andrew Brock, you're a good player. Almost got him.
Galadriel Lady of Light is scary, especially with the new for free install fear every turn.
Yeah. Well, install fear is the spear. Is the spell, so she can chase people away. But then her war aspect special rule, which reduces everyone's courage around her, all the enemy courage around her.
So she was just like, be gone, and then all the goblins would run away, and it was awful.
So that was your game one.
Yeah.
How did Army of the Dead perform for the day?
Game 2, I actually played Army of the Dead. They tried to make it first round, it was randomized. Second round, you played opposite of what you played first round. So I played evil first round, which meant I was playing good in my second round. In my second round, I went up against... What was the mission? Think. I'm going to have a mind blank here.
I don't know
how much detail It was Fog of War.
Fog of War, all right.
Fog of War. With 2 heroes. So Aragorn was my leader because he has to be, and I had the King of the Dead. So the King of the Dead was potentially 6 victory point swing.
Because in the Fog of War scenario, it's the only other hero he has, so he has to choose that one as the hero he's going to defend and try to keep alive and unwounded.
Yeah.
And the opposite guy, his opponent, has to choose not his leader, pick another hero, so there's only one to choose, who he's trying to wound and kill to get victory points. So it's 3 victory points for him to keep him alive and unwounded, 3 victory points for the opponent to kill him.
Yeah.
So that's a 6-point swing on one character on the board. So clearly that was an important model that game.
Yes, and with my tiny little army of 16 guys, I just knew right off the bat I was going up against Angmar. But it was a fun Angmar army, so no Barrow Whites and no Shade, which meant it was actually a game instead of being Angmar just steamrolling whatever they were fighting. So anyway, he had Gullivar. This is Michael Campbell I fought, actually.
Fantastic guy to play with.
He had Gullivar, an Orc Captain, and an Orc Shaman, which he also had a crap ton of Orcs and Warg Riders. So I knew right off the bat, I'm not getting my terrain piece. I'm going to try to play this smart, though, because if I kill him fast enough, then I might be able to break through or whatever.
Terrain piece reference? In this scenario, you're supposed to pick a terrain piece at the opposite side of the board, one of your opponent's terrain pieces, and if you can capture and control that terrain piece at the end of the game, whatever happens between now and then, at the end of the game, you get victory points for it. So he's saying, totally outgunned, totally outnumbered, he's not going to get a terrain piece. Just choose other objectives, pursue other victory points.
What I ended up doing was actually moving up. I found there was right in the middle of the board, there were 2 big terrain pieces, which I couldn't choose because they were right down the middle of the board. But they were right near the terrain piece I wanted to take, and on top of that, they were 2 big pieces of terrain. So I just put my army right there. I'm like, okay, come on, Orcs, bring it. And what ended up happening was Gullivar. I knew this was going to happen. I put King of the Dead in the back so that he couldn't be charged by Gullivar. I knew Gullivar was going to do like a barge, whatever thingy, just to break my line and get the king. So I just wanted to see what he would do. Gullivar flies in. Of course, he does the heroic combat. I heroic strike with the king. He chooses not to charge. He goes on and just hurls down my line. Literally doesn't kill anything. Everyone just falls over and is fine. And he has to blow all 3 of his might to get that off. So Gullivar's out of might. Half my army's on the ground. But the clever thing that he did was Aragorn's on the opposite end. And there's all my guys in between him and Gullivar.
Which means if Aragorn pulls a heroic move, he's too far away.
Well, he's not too far away. I've got all my dudes in the way. And a heroic move, you have to move first. So I had Aragorn, bunch of Army of the Dead, and Gullivar was behind my lines. And then his orcs all charged and everything. So essentially, Aragorn and Gullivar were just playing 2 completely opposite games. They were just hanging out on opposite ends of the field, just avoiding each other. Aragorn was trying to get at Gullivar the whole time, but he just couldn't, because my guys were always in the way. Basically, stuff was just dying back and forth. I was killing a lot more than he was, but then again, every kill he got counted for more. So it was pretty even. And it was funny. I had the King of the Dead in a big bubble of Army of the Dead. And then eventually, finally, one Army of the Dead died right in front of the King. King jumps out, 1v1 combat with the Orc Captain. Insta-kills. Jumps back in the middle. Bubble forms. Finally, crack down the middle of the line. Aragorn plows through. King of the Dead joins against Gullivar. 1 turn, dead Gullivar. And at that point, it was just downhill.
King of the Dead really is pretty nasty.
It was just a grind fest. The Army of the Dead just destroy everything, especially when they wound on 3s.
The last meta, it used to be Iron Hills that were really tough. This time what we're seeing is that the Army of the Dead really has come back.
Well, yeah. Especially considering Aragorn has the free heroic move every turn, which means you completely really control the field of play. Yeah. And if you don't have to blow the heroic move, say you have priority.
So if you can control the field of play, then you can get the King of the Dead in where he can kill stuff. Yeah. And just let the big D8 wall that wounds on courage. which can wound Balrogs on 5s. Like
Yep.
wounds on courage. It's a big deal. With the benefit of the Harbinger of Evil in the back rank from the King of the Dead, so you're
really
wounding
scary.
on lower courage on everything. It really is a tough army to play
Yeah.
against. So it worked well for him. How'd you do?
Yes. I won that game. I ended up winning. Actually, no. Sorry. We ended up drawing that game. But it was a technicality. We forgot that the Angmar Orc Shaman doesn't actually have Fury.
That would have mattered.
Yeah, it kind of mattered because my dudes all had Terror, and there was Harbinger of Evil, so his Orcs were all Courage 1. And I was wounding them on 3s, but they also would like never charge me, which would have meant I could have just run them all out of the way, and Aragorn would have been on Gullivar turn 2. But
he played it well. Honest mistake.
Oh yeah,
they had fun.
It actually
he came home having a lot of fun.
It was a really tight game.
He wasn't sure he wanted to play that list, and he is completely indecisive and usually picks his list like the night before the event, and I give him a hard time for that. So I chose his list for him and told him he wasn't going to change his mind. He was taking this because I had to paint some of the models for him. So too bad for him. He's taking them. But it meant that it worked. He actually had an army to play. So.
Round 3, again, I was playing good again this time. Third round 1, it was randomized. Round 2, you played the opposite of what you played first round. Round 3 was randomized again.
And then round 4 was the opposite of round 3.
Exactly. So round 3, I went up against Steve Stokes in Contest of Champions. And it was ironic.
Aragorn was your champion?
Well, we both had the exact same good army. So it was Aragorn, King of the Dead, plus a bunch of Army of the Dead. The only difference was he had like 3 extra guys, and I had 2 cav. And then our evil armies, I had Goblin Town, and he had Elite Mordor, with Blackguard, Black Minorians, and the Witch King on Felbeast. So we looked at each other, and we're just like, you know what? Whoever's playing good is going to win this game. Dice roll off to see who's playing good.
Aragorn and King of the Dead against your Goblin King.
Or
so
the Witch
dead.
King.
He's toast.
Yeah, just in
or
one
against
round.
the Witch King, so he's toast.
So we rolled off. I won, so I was playing good. Aragorn versus the Witch King of Angmar. And long and the short of it is, Aragorn just tanked. Army of the Dead just crunched all the Black Minorians and Blackguard, and Aragorn one turn at the Witch King. And did a bunch of other stuff as well. But it was just
pretty nasty.
That game for me was just solid proof of elite army versus elite army. Army of the Dead always wins. Because you're paying the points for the killing power, which is nullified by their high defense, and you're paying the points for your relatively high defense, which they just completely get past. Because they wound on courage.
It's a very interesting army meta right now. All right,
Game 4. Game 4.
Quick lessons, and then we want to hear what you learned for the day.
Yes. Game 4 was Heirlooms of Ages Past. And I played Evil, which was Goblin Town. So I go into that mission, and I'm like, you know what?
Bury the whole board with goblins.
Exactly. I actually went up against Owen, which was my buddy that I went to the tournament with. So we were very happy that we got to play on top table. Long and short of it is, I just crunched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just controlled the entire board. Our scatter deployment rules were awful, but that worked out for me. Because his elves ended up in 2 opposite corners, and I just had my 4 warbands. Like, literally, I had 1 on each board edge. So I just put the Goblin King after Círdan. Goblin King Golem just crunched Círdan's warband, and the Goblin Scribe's warband just tied up the twins. And then when they finally dealt with the Scribe's warband, they started moving towards the middle, but at that point I had the objective, and my whole army was moving to consolidate. And the game just ended.
It's Goblin Town doing what Goblin Town does.
Yep.
But they had a great day. Owen had a great day. It was Owen's first event. We'd love to get him on this video.
Event. Actually, third event.
He's come to a couple, that's true. But it's pretty few and far between. We're going to try to see if we can help him come with us more often. But it's been great to see this hobby growing. Lots of our friends are starting to get involved. So, lessons for the day. What are some key lessons? Army of the Dead is a lot tougher than it looks.
They destroy everything.
Especially in a good versus evil format, because they're really, Army of the Dead is wired to fight evil armies. They struggle a lot more with good armies than they do with evil armies.
The weakness of evil armies is low courage, just generically across all their factions.
Goblins
and that comes back to bite them in the butt when all your opponents wound on courage and have terror. On top of that, evil doesn't really have an answer for big heroes anymore. Especially since all the good heroes got buffed and most of the evil heroes just stayed about the same. So they don't have
a couple noteworthy exceptions, but only a couple, like the Balrog, but he costs so much.
And who takes the Balrog? Like maybe 1 or 2 people every turn.
I've taken a Balrog, but there's only a couple, really.
So realistically, what do they have that can fight Aragorn? And the King of the Dead can fight most things by himself that they bring against, because most evil characters are either 3 attacks, 2 might, or 3 might, 2 attacks. then the King of the Dead can just tank that because he's 2 attacks plus Aragorn's 6-inch banner. And if he wins the fight 2 wounds, which he's usually wounding on 4s, and then they're dead.
Yep. Because of 1 wound, it'll insta-kill.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's
So Army of the Dead's tough. Goblin Town, we've got another whole video on that, so
yeah,
we'll give you a link to
Goblin
that video.
Town is Goblin Town.
Goblin Town is one of the strongest factions right now.
Yeah.
Just the numbers. You just cover the board with your models, and then you don't care if you lose a whole bunch of them. You just use them to seize objectives and kill stuff. And by the time you've killed stuff, you'll lose a lot of models. Every game, you'll lose a lot of models. But you plan for that, and you let it happen where you want it to happen. If you can control the field of play by your volume, then the other video says all kinds of good stuff about that. So,
all right.
How'd the day go?
Final scores. 3rd place was Don Barnett.
Congrats, Don. He's still in the top 10. He's like, Don's an anchor in the top 10. He's just always up there. He does really well. He's always present, plays consistently well. Doesn't always podium, but often does. So, 3rd place to Don this time.
2nd place went to Ben Boomer.
Another non-surprise. He wins a lot around our circles, too. He does well.
Yep. And 1st place was this guy.
So he was happy when he came home.
I was happy.
Had a fun day. Andy came home with
It was intense.
A bit of points.
I was so close. Okay, if that was Lords of Battle in the final round, I was done. It sucks when you get to top table and you're like, this is going to be a game determined by the mission.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Elves against Goblin Town and Lords of Battle is pretty much a write-off.
I would have just straight up lost. I looked at my buddy, and because he had the Elven twins and Círdan, so his army would cause terror, and he could just sit between 2 pieces of terrain, and he would just grind goblins all day.
Yep.
And
if your points matter on wound count,
yeah,
and the Elven twins can pull some might and honk their way through whatever they want to, and go kill
the Goblin King can't just tank their heroes because they chop through his blubber.
Yep.
So
now that Elven Blades ignore the blubber special rule,
yep,
the Elven twins can fight their way through whatever they need to get to the king and kill him, and that's yeah. So the mission matters. Definitely. When you play a tournament you got to play the mission.
Yep.
And the opponent, you got to play what their army is and sort of line up your strengths and weaknesses to their strengths and weaknesses. Interesting stuff. Okay, so key lessons from the day we've covered. We talked about the podium. What are some of the other prizes they gave out?
They gave out Most Sporting, Wooden Spoon, and I believe they also gave out Best Painted, but I can't remember who got Best Painted.
There's always a Craftsman Award at all of our events, so...
I can't remember who got Best Painted.
Some nice-looking armies. I saw the pictures. I wasn't able to be there, but some of the pictures look really great.
I remember that Best Sporting, I believe it was Kevin Rowan, and I remember Wooden Spoon was Mike Schock.
There you go. Congratulations, gentlemen.
And
one of these days I'm going to get a wooden spoon. I've gotten tanked pretty hard a couple of times, but I've never
Drew
had a
and I
spoon
were
yet.
fighting for Wooden Spoon at the last event. We were joking.
So,
we wanted so
Ronan,
bad to fight bottom table, and one of us get Wooden Spoon.
Drew and Ronan are at the top of the league right now. Ben is right there with them. And the 3 of them are always up near the top of the league. So having them fight it out for Wooden Spoon is that's kind of fun.
That would have been really funny.
It would serve them well to be at the bottom table. Good life lessons, character building, right? All right. Quick summary thoughts before I've got another couple of questions. We're good?
Great event.
Great event.
Thumbs
well
up.
done, Taylor, right? Taylor won this one?
Yes.
Thank you, Taylor, for running another one.
For the good and evil. I'm not sure I'd do it at another 100-point event. I liked it personally.
Nicer for a hobby event?
Yeah,
maybe?
I'd say it's better for a hobby event.
In our league, if you don't already know, because most of you won't have a reason to know, in our league we have 2 classes of events, and all of them done to different caliber, but we have competitive events and hobby events, and we're getting better at keeping the line clear between them. A lot of our hobby events in the past have been smaller competitive events, but we're getting better at just delineating that. So this was a competitive tier event. It's worth 100 league points towards our league scores at the end of the year.
So it really matters.
The hobby points, hobby events go for 80 points. And at the hobby events, the most coveted awards are the hobby awards. It's the best painted, it's the best display, it's the best conversion, it's the best other stuff, not generalship per se. Generalship will be part of the scoring for the event, but certainly not the only part.
Yeah.
And that's going to segue. Actually, the next event coming up in Ontario, Canada is the Canadian Shire. It's on November 2nd. The guys have been working hard on this event. They've been working for over 2 years, putting their ideas together, testing different things. And this is the only Hobbit event, Middle Earth event in Canada, where what they've done is they've got different scenarios in every board. And their scoring algorithm for the event is a little different as well, but they've got different scenarios on every board. You don't know which board you're going to play on until they draw it randomly for every round.
Completely different.
And you don't get to play everything. You're only going to have 4 games in the day, so you only get to play 4 of their scenarios. I think there are 20 people at this next event. It's a very exclusive event. 20 people, so there's 10 boards.
And
each board has a custom mission.
And usually, you're fighting the scenario more than you're fighting your opponent. So it's really interesting.
They've dropped some hints and some rumors. So last year,
one
of the tables...
went last year,
yeah,
then
so
you
those
saw
folks
some
know.
stuff. But...
Last year, one of the tables had a Moomok, Mumak marching through the middle of the board, and both armies trying to put as many wounds on the Mumak as they could. And you didn't even care what the other army was doing. You're trying to put wounds on the Mumak.
And because of the
One of the
massive
scenarios-
list of banned models, you have nothing to fight a Mumak with.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But one of the models, you're fighting in the Shire against your opponent. There is a mission and there are victory points, and the hobbits are there trying to kill you both because you don't belong in the Shire. Go away.
Hobbits aren't very killy, but when there's
When
literally
they're
like
the third army and they
40
have
of them?
nothing to lose and all they're doing is trying to kill
Yeah.
you. So fun
yeah.
scenarios, and that's the point. They're fun scenarios. And then the scoring algorithm for the day puts a heavy emphasis on hobbying. So the theme of your army really matters. If you can pull a scene from the book or from the movies and say, this scene is my army, here it is, here's my list, it matches, that's a big deal. And then painting scores and displays and all these kind of things. So last year, Chris Noakes won last year and got big kudos on the websites for that.
yeah, that was his first event. And
First event, but beautiful army. He played the theme well, and he had fun with the missions, and he did okay. And
Thorns Company.
it was a fun day
The
for
first year
everybody.
they held the event, I think they had like 3 fellowships and 2 Thorns Companies. And they're like, no, guys, we said theme. We didn't mean I'll bring the fellowship.
So this year, there's a huge list of banned models. Most of the banned models are part of the scenarios in the day. So that's part of why they're busy. So you can't bring a Mumak
makes you
because the
think.
one table is the Mumak table. So they don't want another Mumak coming. They want the table to be about the Mumak.
And the
So it's kind of
banned
fun.
list has like doubled this year. It's ridiculous.
They had some challenges last year they're trying to fix
Yeah.
and keep it more and more fun. So they're building every year. They're learning.
It's interesting. If you look at the list, it's basically all the heroes of legend and then all the big monsters. And then a couple of
Balrogs,
people that they really don't like.
Elrond, Thranduil, Tom Bombadil, a bunch of stuff. It's
Goblin
just
Scribe.
Goblin Scribe. Yeah.
They really don't like the
The
Goblin
shade?
Scribe.
Do they
I
ban the
wonder-
shade too?
No, you can take a shade.
I can take a shade.
You can take a
There's-
shade. You'll just get spit on by everybody.
Some of the scenarios really. will
Unless
just
your
wreck you.
army is 5 shades and the Witch King.
That
On
would be
foot,
weird.
no mount,
That
but
would be
5 shades.
Really weird to play. Like, wow.
You would lose every game.
And people would love killing
every
you.
game.
All right, so that's coming up in the future, November 2nd in Ontario, Canada. So we'll do a video after that to tell you what we learn and how it goes. We're going to be taking a couple of friends with us. We managed to get tickets. The tickets sold out in like 10 minutes online, so that was great. Fastest sellout for any Canadian event. So that was really great. Congratulations to the boys behind the Canadian Shire, Don, Garrett, and Drew. I'm very excited to come and be part of that event, and we'll look forward to doing a video afterward.
Yeah.
We'll have to coordinate our content with them. They do videos too. We'll make sure.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to want to put some
Oh, they've
shameless
got
plug
some.
for their
They've got
videos.
some great stuff to brag about in there. So we're looking forward to seeing what they'll say and what they're going to do. All right, thanks so much for watching. My Govan, and we will be back again soon. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. This is our last Word from the Mark video for a couple of weeks. We are going to get into some more other videos. We've got a few different playlists in our channel. If you don't know our channel very well, please take a look at the playlists. We've had some fun. And we've got a couple other fun things we're going to be starting really soon. So hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you again soon.